So by the end of 1862, at the beginning of 1863, the war is far from decided. In March of 1863, the Union is forced to pass the first Conscription Act, forcing people as a draft, forcing people to sign up for service. So all men between the ages of 20 and 45 are liable for military, or required to sign up for military service. However, the rich can get out of it by paying a fine, right? Which seems really unfair to the poor, and it results in a series of riots in New York City. Now, there's similar reactions to, there's a similar law in the South, a conscription law, and it starts to be seen as this is a poor man's war. But it's a rich man's war, a poor man's fight. And so the poor men are the ones who are fighting for an argument between wealthy people. So there are two battles that turn the tide, that stop this from being a stalemate, a very expensive stalemate, and turn it into there's a winning side and the defensive side. So the two battles are the Battle of Gettysburg and the Vicksburg campaign. Now both battles happened just before July 4th in 1863, which is just a coincidence. Now the Battle of Gettysburg, that's in Pennsylvania, the Confederacy decide to attack northern soil. Right? They decide that there's enough battles happening in the South, and they decide to attack the North. It's not actually clear why they do this. So the two armies meet in the town of Gettysburg, Pennsylvania. Now Lee and the Confederates know that the Union troops are nearby, but they don't know how many. The Union troops under General Meade decide to entrench in the town and on top of the hills that surround the town. So you can see here's the town in the middle, and you can see where they set up barricades. There's about 165,000 troops in Gettysburg, which is the largest battle ever fought on the American continent. The Union create a line on top of the hills, and after 2 days of trying to take that line, Lee decides to charge the middle of the line. That's the famous Pickett's Charge. Of the 14,000 men that made up that charge, half of them returned. So that's 7,000 men who died, which again is larger than died in all of Antietam, which was a whole day. This is just one charge. That charge ends this battle. Lee returns to the South and never tries to attack the North again. And a lot of people said that the war was lost on that day, in which the South really sort of lost their will to fight this war. The battle was one of the most decisive and deadliest battles in American history. 46,000 soldiers died there that day. It took months to clear all the dead off the field. Again, many have never been identified and buried in mass graves without names. They were there so long that when Lincoln came and gave the Gettysburg Address many months later, there were still many dead on the field. Right? They were there so long that they sort of rotted and bloated. And here are some images from the Battle of Gettysburg. Here you have one of the hills of Pickett's Charge where they tried to go up, and this is the view from the top. This is a famous image of sort of a rebel soldier sort of held up in a foxhole. We know that this was actually set up by a journalist to take this picture, so this was they moved the bodies there, and that happened quite a lot. Photographers would move bodies to take pictures to send home. Now, at the same time, actually same days as the Battle of Gettysburg, there's the culmination of another strategy out west, right? So this is the Vicksburg campaign, which happens in Mississippi. So in May of 1863, Grant sieged the city of Vicksburg, and you can see in the map sort of his movement from March around over the Mississippi River, over to Jackson, and then back to Vicksburg. So he actually sieges this town of Vicksburg, Mississippi, starting in May, and on July 4th, 1863, the town surrenders. Now, when the Confederate soldiers surrender the town, they end up giving up the city and 30,000 men. Right? This puts the entire Mississippi River in Union hands and divides the South. Right? So the simultaneous Southern defeats at Gettysburg and Vicksburg deal a very heavy blow to Southern morale. And of course, it's seen as the turning point in the war.